Hello, thank you for joining us. You're watching News at 8. I am Yvonne Mukwandani.
And I'm Justin Matlatla. Susan Masona joins us at the sign language desk, and later on we shall cross over to our Montreal studios where we'll be joined by Marilyn Gwenya. And these are our top stories tonight.
Paris 2024 Olympic Games spark new avenues for Zimbabwe's delegation to intensify the country's engagement and re-engagement agenda.
And in business news, Zimbabwe experiences a surge in digital transactions accelerated by the use of the Zimbabwe gold currency.
And finally, in sports, turnaround of fortunes as RNL Movers move a place up on the PSL log standings after beating fading giants Caps United 2-1.
And now to the stories in detail. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has commended the United Nations tourism and other key stakeholders who are working to ensure Africa's tourism sector grows against all odds.
Zimbabwe made history on Friday by hosting the inaugural United Nations Tourism Regional Forum on Gastronomy Tourism for Africa. The event, held under the patronage of First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, a passionate advocate for gastronomy, aims to position Zimbabwe as a culinary destination. Gastronomy looks at the coordination of food, drink, and culture and is key to a country that needs to maximize on these aspects to offer its unique cuisines to tourists who will be looking to experience the world through tastes. When President Mnangagwa officially opened the conference this Friday, he acknowledged the United Nations' role in promoting African tourism.
I commend the United Nations tourism and all stakeholders who continue to push the boundaries and reignite Africa's tourism sector, leveraging on the continent's unique natural and cultural offerings, including our foods and the cuisines.
President Mnangagwa also urged delegates to embrace the internet in marketing Africa.
The internet continues to advance and is being utilized as a powerful tool for advertising and marketing, especially in the travel, tourism, and hospitality sectors. Riding on the wide use of ICT, we must see more people from the continent hosting food shows on contemporary media platforms to advance our unique cuisines across the continent.
The president highlighted the strides made by his government to develop a cluster-based strategy in tourism and hospitality in order to ensure maximum gains are derived.
Tourism is an intricately integrated system of many actors who rely on each other. It is made up of important value chains in the local economy. As such, to sustainably grow the tourism and hospitality sector, my government has developed a cluster-based strategy, with gastronomy tourism being part of the culture and heritage cluster.
Among the people who attended the inaugural forum on gastronomy were the First Ladies of Serbia and Angola, who were hosted by their counterpart, Zimbabwe's First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa. Key highlights included Amai's Kitchen, which had various traditional cuisines. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Zimbabwe's delegation to the Paris 2024 Olympic Games is capitalizing on the global spotlight to advance its economic diplomacy agenda.
The glitz and glamour that illuminated the Paris 2024 Olympic Games official opening was the peak for Zimbabwe's delegation as they took the opportunity to intensify the country's engagement and re-engagement agenda. A key focus for the visit was strengthening ties with France. Vice President Chiwenga met with French President Emmanuel Macron, French business organizations, World Health Organization officials, and other several heads of state with a view to strengthen bilateral ties.
WHO Tedros, Director General Takataura na Michel Takataura na weku EU tinoda kuti tinge tichitaurirana tikati ngatitaurirane zvakanaka, tikaonana nevakuru veku-United Nations takataura navo vachisimbisa mukuru wedu kumusha, mukuru wemuno muFrance vanga vachiti aiwa kudyidzana kwedu inavo kunofanira kuti kusimbiswe kuenderere mberi. Ndosaka takuona makambani avo like MEDEF kuda kudyidzana nesu zvakasimba, tinovatarisira kuti vari kuuya mwedzi miri iri kutera.
Beyond diplomacy, the delegation aimed to garner support for sport, arts and recreation minister Kes Coventry's bid for the International Olympic Committee presidents.
We have our honorable minister, who is also in the lineup going for the IOC. And yes, we have, that was our main purpose, to give her support.
Vice President Chiwenga further highlighted the importance of sport in inculcating discipline, considering that most of the country's athletes are pursuing different academic pathways across the globe.
You find all those who are doing the sport. I was asking one of our athletes, and I said, "You are doing law, but what makes you now, go for swimming? What makes you, do psychology? What makes you do, operations? What makes you do engineering?" So these are not only, just the sportsmen. They are also doing their various degrees. You see, so once you are a sports person, you become self-disciplined, and in whatever you do, you succeed.
The planned visit by MEDEF has been the highlight of the visit, as the French business organization represents more than 7,000 businesses in France, and their willingness to invest in Zimbabwe is expected to bring a new dimension to the political and economic relationship between the two countries. Bruce Chawanda, ZBC News, Paris.
Back home, the ruling ZANU PF party has revealed that preparations for its annual National People's Conference scheduled for October in Bulawayo are now in full swing, with all logistical and organizational arrangements nearing completion.
In an exclusive interview with the ZBC News in Harare this Saturday, ZANU PF Party National Chairperson Comrade Opam Chinguri Kashiri shared insights into the key issues expected to dominate discussions at the upcoming conference.
It will be celebratory also, looking at the successes that we have achieved since the last conference that we held in Midlands Province in Gweru in particular. So usually each year we come up with a theme, and this year's theme is industrialize, modernize for the attainment of Vision 2030. So for us it's very key, because last year you may recall that at every Congress we come up with resolutions, and we expect that the whole year would be devoted by government now to implement those conference resolutions, since we are the ruling party. We normally discuss our theme, which looks at the state of the party. We are going through an exercise now of restructuring. We have had by-elections and many other activities, so we share during the conference, introspect where we have done well, where we are not doing so well. Then also we look at the economy itself, looking at Vision 2030. How well have we performed from last year, October, to this year? And we are very happy that already the Cabinet Office has put together now the response to those resolutions. What has been implemented, we have witnessed now the infrastructural development that is taking place.
Comrade Mchinguri Kashiri added that issues pertaining to women and youth affairs will be on the conference agenda, ensuring that the voices and concerns of these critical demographics are heard and addressed.
We are also going to be discussing the issues of women affairs, how women are benefiting from the new policies of government. We know very well that government has performed very well since independence to date. But now we have seen very robust programs that are targeting women in all sectors. And we have seen more women now being promoted into decision-making positions. And this is also in response to the 2013 constitution, which has been translated to our own ZANU PF constitution. So you will see that realignment that is working for the better. You see in parliament there are more women. Now even after the elections, more and more women are coming in.
This year's People's Annual Conference will be held against the backdrop of landmark developments initiated by the Second Republic. Thousands of delegates from the Revolutionary Party, along with regional and international sister parties, are expected to attend. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Zimbabwe is expecting the 7th SADC Industrialization Week to set the tone for increased production through the implementation of the region's grouping's industrialization strategy framework.
The Minister of Industry and Commerce, Honorable Mangaliso Ndlovu, told the ZBC News that preparations for the SADC Industrialization Week are almost complete, with expectations it will lay out solutions to industrial growth.
It is anchored on private sector participation. We have got private sector from the region and beyond who will be exhibiting, who will be showcasing their innovations, their breakthroughs, their products. And we hope that they will utilize the whole week to create networks as well as to open markets for their products.
The minister also highlighted the importance of the SADC Industrialization Strategy Framework.
The very essence of having the SADC Industrialization Week is to come together and assess the progress we are making in implementing the SADC Industrialization Strategy and Roadmap. So there will be presentations coming from the SADC Secretariat highlighting whether or not we are on course in the implementation of our strategy and roadmap.
The SADC Industrialization Week that will be held from the 28th of July to the 2nd of August this year offers an opportunity for Zimbabwe to promote local companies, showcase investment opportunities, foster economic growth and development.
Residents of Glenview and Budiriro suburbs in Harare have expressed gratitude towards the government's presidential solar project, which has brought relief and empowerment to their communities.
In fulfillment of Sustainable Development Goal number 7 of ensuring access to clean and affordable energy, implementation of the presidential solar scheme is on course in the high-density suburbs of Glenview and Budiriro in Harare. The pilot project, administered through Prevail International, has already illuminated over 70 households, putting to bed the nightmares of load shedding.
Tinoda kutenda President wedu waMnangagwa nekungoramba vachititira mabasa anoshamisa kuno kuGlenview. Vakambotanga vachitipa maboreholes tisina mvura. Izvozvi vatirangarira futi kutisira masola kuti tive tichigara pane mwenje nguva dzose.
Tiri kugamuchira chirongwa ichi nemwoyo wese. Toda kungotendawo President wedu nokutirangarira kuti tiwanewo mwenje mudzimba.
Magetsi edu haachaenda nekuti takujenereta magetsi.
Semadzimai takukwanisa kuitawo mabasa emaoko, kutengesa, totengawo huku tichiuraya tisa mafiriji.
We are happy about the presidential solar scheme.
Prevail Group International Chairperson Dr. Paul Tungwarara announced that the pilot program of around 400 housing units will not only reduce power challenges but become a source of income for residents.
They have done 70 to 80 houses already. So now they are putting solar panels. Once they finish installation of solar panels, they go inside putting inverters and feeding into the grid straight. As a pilot, we are targeting 400 houses. That should be completed very soon and feeding into the national grid. Then His Excellency will come and officially open these 400 houses. And we are not going to stop from there. We are going to continue rolling out the program.
Building on the success of the presidential borehole scheme, This latest initiative aims to expand its impact, bringing further relief and development to communities across Zimbabwe, both rural and urban. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
Zimbabwe is poised for a record-breaking wheat harvest with projection exceeding 600,000 tons. This surpasses the country's annual consumption of 350,000 tons, marking a significant milestone in the nation's agricultural sector.
Last year's aggregate wheat hectareage stood at 96,000, which was enough to guarantee national wheat requirements. This year, government and the private sector exceeded the set target to 121,000 hectares, with the Agriculture and Rural Development Authority, ADA, contributing 51% of the hectareage. ADA board chairperson Evan Craig says the planted hectareage is more than double that of last year.
As a nation, we were on a target of 120,000 hectares, but as ADA, we're given 50% of that, which is 60,000 hectares. But you know, through collaborations with other departments, particularly Agritech, you find that we managed to surpass the 60,000 hectare target. So we are around 61,000 hectares, of which we are targeting more than 300,000 metric tons of wheat, which will contribute almost 50% of our national target of 600,000.
Among stakeholders and the effective utilization of land through joint ventures led to this achievement, says Mr. Craig.
We have to thank farmers, you know, they are forthcoming on the joint venture program. So that's our secret, to say we are working with farmers and they are forthcoming, and we have to make sure that we manage our relationship so that we continue with the program of joint venture, so that at least we've got other people who are helping us in contributing towards the food security at a national level.
A wheat harvest of over 600,000 tons is expected this year, way above the national requirement of 350,000 tons. This reflects a significant shift in Zimbabwe's agriculture sector through the Foods and Agriculture Transformation Strategy introduced by government in 2019. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Government has applauded the business community for embarking on charitable initiatives that align with citizen-based national development initiatives. This came out during the 26th edition of the Republican Cup held this Saturday.
In a speech read on his behalf by the Minister of Defense, Comrade Opam Chingurikashiri, at the Republic Cup horse racing event this Saturday, Vice President Kembo Moad said the event, which involves charity initiatives towards the needy, feeds into government inclusive development agenda.
It is pleasing to note that over the past 26 years, the Republic Cup Trust has continued to exhibit commitment to elevate the lives of many people in our communities through donations to various charities and the needy in our society. To the organizers of this event, I want to assure you that your efforts are not in vain, as the subsequent benefits arising from this event align with the objectives of the National Development Strategy 1. In developing NDS1, His Excellency the President insisted that enhanced citizen involvement in sports be included as one of the national key result areas and outcomes.
The organizers noted that the continuity of the program inspires the youth through sport.
This partnership that we have in horse racing with the Republic Cup Trust has transcended into more than just a horse race. It's more than just a national sporting event and an investment in sport. It's a community partnership. His name will forever be synonymous with the Republic Cup, sure. But his testament and all of his work he did is to keep this race at the pinnacle of our sport. This day will bring so much to so many. From our trainers and owners and grooms, a lifetime of memories are etched within them forever. I thank the Republic Cup for allowing these memories. The charities that it supported, it still supports, and that it's supported over the years, it will only serve to encourage our youth, to give inspiration to each and every single one of them, to provide even the smallest platform to allow them to develop in future to one of our leaders, perhaps one of our businessmen.
This year's Republic Cup winner is Ideoview, trained by Deborah Swanson. The Republic Cup is marking its 26th anniversary, having been inspired by Mr. Kamau Kalfan, who passed on this year. President Emmerson Mnangagwa is the patron of the Republic Trust Fund, which is coordinated by the business community, whose aim is to showcase horse riding talents while fundraising to support institutions taking care of the vulnerable. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, has challenged learners to use information communication technology gadgets solely for educational purposes, shunning material that will impact their lives negatively. Amai Mnangagwa said this during the handover of ICT gadgets to Baobab Primary School in Victoria Falls by Serbian First Lady Mrs. Tamara Vucic this Friday.
The need for students to use ICT gadgets for study purposes only came under the spotlight when First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa addressed students at Baobab Primary School in Victoria Falls after they received tablets from Dr. Mnangagwa's Serbian counterpart, Mrs. Tamara Vucic. The handover ceremony was held on the sidelines of the inaugural United Nations Tourism Regional Forum on Gastronomy Tourism for Africa. The event was also graced by Angolan First Lady Mrs. Ana Dias Lourenco, Serbian First Lady Mrs. Tamara Vucic, and representatives sent by First Ladies from Burundi, Rwanda, Equatorial Guinea, Tanzania, and Namibia. They were invited by Dr. Mnangagwa to attend the inaugural Gastronomy Tourism for Africa. The event was also graced by Angolan First Lady Mrs. Ana Dias Lourenco and representatives sent by First Ladies from Rwanda, Equatorial Guinea, Burundi, Sierra Leone, Tanzania, Namibia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, Mozambique, Nigeria, Cameroon, Malawi, Egypt, Tunisia, and Botswana. During the handover ceremony, Serbian First Lady Mrs. Vucic explained the relationship between education and innovation, urging students to use the gadgets for learning purposes.
I came from far away, from Serbia. Our idea was to help in a way with your education. Because education goes hand in hand with innovation, so we cannot live without that. So that was the idea, to give these tablets. I hope that you will be, while using them, that you will be able to learn something.
Dr. Mnangagwa expressed gratitude to the First Lady of Serbia for the donation before engaging learners in an interactive session on what they will use the gadgets for.
What are you going to use these tablets for?
I heard that will be projects coming up, so I decided to use them for researching about our projects.
There are so many things that we learn at school. Particularly, what do you want to research? Maths.
To play games.
This is what I was looking for. The games. The games, huh? What do games mean? They have nothing to do with school. They have nothing to do with even looking after yourself.
Amai Mnangagwa rallied students to use the tablets to enhance their learning. She also implored them to stay away from harmful and misleading online content, to shun drugs, but to focus on their studies.
Stay away from drugs, Vanawangunai. Stay away from drugs. The age which you are in now, please study hard in school. The tablets are there for you to help you pass with flying marks. Yes. Because there's no way for you to fail when the First Lady has brought that for you.
Angolan First Lady Mrs. Ana Dias Lourenco also interacted with the students on the importance of prioritizing their education.
I would like to know one thing only. What do you do in school?
You come to study and learn how.
Yeah.
The wife of United Nations Tourism Secretary General Mr. Zurab Polekashvili, Mrs. Tamara Polekashvili, echoed the same sentiments.
I want to wish your children today so many very beautiful faces. So I wish you all the luck. And education is the most important thing you can do.
Representatives of other African First Ladies from countries like Equatorial Guinea, Tanzania, Namibia, Burundi, and Rwanda were also present. They gave wise counsel to the youngsters.
We commend the work Her Excellency the First Lady has done
And this is also a manifestation today. We were talking of a lot of, yes, let's give us a clap. We talked a lot about the work that has been done in tourism as a patron, in gastronomy that has gathered us here today, but there's more that we have witnessed here. You're doing more, you're leading by an example, and we are proud to be here associating with this initiative.
I know that they will succeed with this tablet. They will succeed, and I congratulate also education and you, First Lady, for this honorable job.
This is a great opportunity that shows what tourism does. Put everything together. Tourism, opportunities, education, culture, gastronomy. So it's really congratulations to Zimbabwe for this event. And of course, our First Lady as well. I feel like I'm home.
You know, I came to visit Zimbabwe in 2022. The First Lady seated there, she became a mother and my mentor. And whenever I'm in occasions, I always tell people to say, you should start following the First Lady of the Republic of Zimbabwe and see the good work that she's doing.
I've seen a lot of girls. I'm the chairperson of the Generation Equality for Tanzania, advising our president for Tanzania. So I believe, as you are starting now, you're almost equal. So it should be the same even in higher education. This number, the equality, by 50-50 or 49-51, should continue to thrive.
The headmistress of Baobab Primary School, Mrs. Virginia Ngube, was grateful for the donation.
Our children are going to improve their results as well. Like yesterday, last year we had 90% pass rate of these kids, and this year we want them to go up to 100%.
An electric atmosphere engulfed the school when the children took it to the dance floor in appreciation of the gesture from the Serbian First Lady. Amem Mnangagwa and a delegation joined the pupils in music and dance, much to the delight of the learners. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Remember, we have more news on our website, that is www.zbcnews.co.zw. We are also available on various social media platforms, that is Facebook, YouTube, X, as well as our WhatsApp channel. We are ZBC News Online. No stories still to come in this bulletin.
In business, Zimbabwe experiences a surge in digital transactions accelerated by the use of the Zimbabwe gold currency. And in sport, turnaround of fortunes as RNO Movers move a place up on the PSL log standings after beating fading giants Caps United. We'll be back with these and more stories. Stay tuned.
This is the currency we've been waiting for. A currency that's not just paper and coins, but a symbol of Zimbabwe's rich resources and stability. That's Zimbabwe Gold. This is ZIG. Let's dive into what makes ZIG not just a new currency, but a new beginning for Zimbabwe's economy. ZIG is born out of a blend of traditional and innovative financial wisdom, anchored in gold and precious metals, along with foreign currency reserves. This backing isn't just for show. It's a promise of stability and trust, ensuring that ZIG's value is as solid as the gold it's pegged to. From the bustling markets of Farai to the serene landscapes of rural Zimbabwe, ZIG is set to become the medium of exchange that's both reliable and accessible. With denominations ranging from ZIG 200 to ZIG 1 and even handy coins, it caters to every transaction, big or small. Transitioning to ZIG is a breeze. It's all about inclusivity, ensuring no one is left behind in Zimbabwe's financial renaissance. ZIG doesn't walk alone. It co-circulates with other foreign currencies under Zimbabwe's multi-currency system, enriching our financial landscape. It's a legal tender that not only simplifies transactions but also restores confidence in our economy, promising a future where stability and growth go hand in hand. So why ZIG? Because it's more than just money. It's a symbol of Zimbabwe's resilience, a step towards an economy where stability is the norm, and every Zimbabwean can look forward to a prosperous future. Welcome to the era of Zimbabwe Gold, where our currency is our pride.
Days since the last day of last season, we are ready to do it all again.
Phil Foden is having the season of his life. Brilliant! Just brilliant! That is quite something!
Get all your football needs with DSTV for Business. Visit dstv.com/business and find the package that suits your business. They'll love it here.
Zimbabwe, where the sun kisses the earth, lies a world of endless opportunity.
Here, amidst the vibrant colors and lively exchanges, the spirit of abundance live. Allow yourself the opportunity to connect and innovate. See the future of your business at the 114th edition of the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show.
Filled with ideas, new and radical, that are cultivating prosperity, growing business, innovating for change, and nurturing our future. From agriculture to agribusiness, and from agricultural education to agri-tourism, every sector finds a place to flourish here, where companies unveil their latest innovations and network with current and potential markets. ZAS 2024, where the future of all business sectors is being written today.
Try the new Dunked All-Star Box. Hope you're ready for the new star of the show. KFC, it's finger licking good while stocks last.
You're still watching News at 8. Thank you for staying with us. Zimbabwe has reaffirmed its commitment to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals at the recently held high-level political forum held in New York.
According to the Sustainable Development Goals 2024 report, only 17% of SDGs targets are on track to date. Climate change has exacerbated challenges impacting food security, marine ecosystems, and the livelihoods of millions. Addressing the high-level political forum in New York, the Minister of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, Honorable July Moyo, outlined Zimbabwe's progress in meeting the targets.
This review underscores our government's unwavering commitment to realizing the Sustainable Development Goals, aligning our national vision of becoming a prosperous upper-middle-income society by 2030 with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the African Union's Agenda 2063, ensuring synchronization of implementation, monitoring, evaluation, and reporting by government. The 2024 VNR developed through a whole-of-government and a whole-of-society approach to sustainable development, involving government and various stakeholders, stands as a testament to the collective effort towards achieving the SDGs.
The Minister of Finance and Investment Promotion, Professor Mthuli Ncube, who was chairing the Conference of African Ministers of Finance, stressed the need for debt suspension for African countries that are reeling under the vagaries of climate change, which has drawn back progress on attaining targets on SDGs.
Increasing the representation of African countries in global economic decision-making processes is crucial for the continent's development and prosperity. The African continent has not been spared from these shocks. Our government's balance sheets have been severely weakened, leaving them operating under considerable fiscal constraints. The average public debt in Africa ratio is around 65% of GDP, with some countries having higher debt levels. Alarmingly, nearly 40% of African countries are in or at high risk of debt distress.
The forum, which is running under the theme Reinforcing the 2030 Agenda and Eradicating Poverty in Times of Multiple Crises, resolved to invigorate multilateralism, boost implementation of existing commitments, and launched the first United Nations system-wide strategy on water and sanitation, together with the 2024 Global Report on Climate and SDGs Synergy. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News.
We now cross over to Marilyn Gwenya, who is at our Montreal studios in Bulawayo. It's over to you, Marilyn, and good evening.
Justin and Yvonne. In our following report, ZANU PF youths in Bulawayo have joined calls for President Emmerson Mnangagwa to remain in office beyond 2030.
The ZANU PF Youth League in Bulawayo held a provincial meeting this Saturday, calling for President Emmerson Mnangagwa to remain in office beyond 2030. Comrade Freedom Murechu, the provincial chairperson, said President Mnangagwa's developmental agenda has driven youth to seek for his continued steward leadership.
Ama youth across Bulawayo province, ama youth our ZANU PF, bathi la first resolution yabo neyokuthi uba uMnangagwa uPresident Mnangagwa ebebusa kusafika 2030. Sababa lesicelo futhi ngokunanzelela imisebenzi eyayenzwa ngumuyi our former vice president ukuba umqabuko nkomo imisebenzi encomeka njalo engafana Zimbabwe ubulawayo la the youth league savumelana ukuthi siyecela kumongameli ilanga lapho sathiwa khona ukuba unkomo lideclare ibe public holiday ejoshwa unkomo day.
ZANU PF Secretary for Youth Affairs, Comrade Tino Machakaire, implored the Youth League to be the vanguard of the party and partake in developmental projects.
So I thought my resolutions allow Nkambela kumdala wethu. Ngoba anto nimzwile sithi hey usufuna ukuphumula. But ibulawayo ithe hayi asifuni ukuphumula asifuni ukuqeda umsebenzi wakho. So 2030 bakunangagwe yakhona. So mina ngizolandela ukuthi 2030 bakunangagwe uyabe ebusa. Don't allow people to make you jump when you cannot jump. Don't be abused, you are the vanguard of the party. Lina bafana, liyangizwa yini? Lina, it is your time to show that you are the vanguard of the party.
The resolution comes after President Mnangagwa recently announced that he will step down at the end of his second term in 2028 in respect of the constitution of Zimbabwe and of ZANU PF. However, there have been recommendations from various provinces, including Mashingo, Midlands, Matabeleland North, Matabeleland South, and Mashonaland East, for the president to lead the country to Vision 2030. The ZANU PF Youth League is set to host a national conference on the 7th of August in Landmoy. ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The Chindenga community of Mutoko has been connected to the national electricity grid, which saw 2 schools, a clinic and a local business center being the key beneficiaries.
Implemented by the Rural Electrification Agency RIA, the electrification program is switched on lights at 2 schools, a clinic and a local business center in Mutoko Chindenga community.
Tanga takaderera pamacomputers taichingoperera mukuudzwa nemuromo, but now takukwanisa kuita macomputers tichiona zvatinochiona sezvomagetsi auya plus futi sainzi takudzidza mune zvakanaka zvatanga tisingawane takuzviwana. Tinge tiuya nemagenduru tichirara murima saka atita sei atibatsira ende ndiri kutenda hurumende yedu yatiwirisira magetsi kuno kuruzevha zvangofanana nokupi kuharare kwacho.
Takwanisa kuvakayo imwe shopu hombe saka zvatondipa kuti ndisimuke zvakanyanya nokuda kwemagetsi. Takuitawo mabhucha panapa tiri kutotendawo president wedu isusu aiwa vari kusumudzira nyika.
RIA spokesperson Mr. Johannes Nyamedenga said by 2030 all the rural areas would have been electrified with one form of energy or the other.
We are moving to all corners of the country to ensure that by 2030 all Zimbabweans who live in the rural areas of Zimbabwe must have access to one form of energy.
Representing the Minister of Energy and Power Development, Honorable Edgar Moyo, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Gloria Magombo, said government is determined to transform lives in rural areas under the leaving no one and no place behind mantra.
This project is set to transform the lives of the benefiting Chidenga community, in which the quality of education and health care will improve.
The electrification program is in line with government's rural industrialization drive meant to contribute towards attainment of a middle-income society by 2030. Wadzanai Mandima, ZBC News, Mutoko.
And now, on a sad note, one of the pioneers of ZBC Central Radio, producer and presenter Farai Moyo, who died on Wednesday, was laid to rest this Friday in Gweru.
The decorated radio presenter at Central Radio in Gweru, Farai Moyo, better known as Fachi Styles or the Radio General, died in the early hours of Wednesday at his home in Mkoba. Fachi Styles, who was 40 years old, joined ZBC Central Radio at its inception in 2018 and has been anchoring a current affairs and sports program dubbed The Call.
It's a loss in the sense that that slot is the one that anchored every topical discussion about issues in the province, from your issues of devolution, NDS1, from right now he was busy working on SADC issues, SADC summit issues. So it's a loss for now to try and replace the experience that he had garnered in the past 6 years and what was giving to the people in the Midlands.
Fachi Styles anga ari a gentle som, anga ari munhu anga akazvinyararira, munhu anga ari dedicated, anga ari so hardworking. Anga ari munhu anga akanyarara, the quiet soul, the Radio General was so good at his job. Tarasikiro.
Pakushanda kwaaita, aita basa rake nemoyo wese, nomufaro usingaiti. Anga ari munhu wekuti aisasarura pabasa, aitaura nemunhu wese, aiseka nemunhu wese. Chinova chinhu chikutirwadza muzuva ranhasi kuti tarasikirwa nomwe wedu watakashanda naye kwenguva yakanaka, kwenguva yakareba, tiripo panhepfenyuro yedu yeCentral Radio 95.8.
Anga ari munhu akanyarara, but a very hardworking soul. Aiti kana ane chaaseta his mind and heart to aichita. Kana tikambonyunyuta waenza woti fare basa ndo statement rake raifarira.
He was a cool guy, not all that talkative. And why umuntu lo anothi khona nxa ukhuluma laye akula lapha engikhumbula khona mbona ukuthi uzondile kumbe njani. He was always laughing. He was la nxa sikhuluma yethi ndara ox, you know, things like that. Why umuntu osebenzeka laye ukuzwa
pura takatarisa munhu anga akanyarara. He was very humble. Munhu waningoti munhu anga achizinyanya kuziya doctrine yechechi yake zvikuru. Paanenge aita mhosva toona wega kuti izvi zvazvitenderwe zvotouya kuvakuru vomubatsira necounseling.
A former Air Force of Zimbabwe official, the Radio General had mastered the art of entertaining people through his edutainment programs. He is survived by his wife, Madeline, and 2 children. Tafara Chikumira, ZBC News, Gweru.
And now it's back to the team at Pocket Hill Studios in Harare for more news.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. The implementation of the Universal Health Coverage Policy is on course, with government presiding over a groundbreaking ceremony for the polyclinic in Harare's Sunningdale suburb.
In a groundbreaking partnership, the Ministry of Health and Childcare has joined forces with Liftcrest Investment Private Limited to build a polyclinic in Harare's Sunningdale suburb. The clinic is slated for completion within 6 months.
What was introduced to the country by the Second Republic, led by His Excellency, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, who said, "Nyika inovakwa nevayo." So this is what inspired us to actually move from where we were outside the country, so that would bring investment, ideas, and technology that would have learned from outside the country to our people. Here we are building a polyclinic, which is a little bit bigger than a normal clinic. We call them traditional clinics.
The partnership in the construction of the clinic is in line with the government's universal health coverage policy.
My presence here is a testimony to the importance that the government holds the issue of health and well-being of our people, as these are some of the pillar policies outlined in our National Development Strategy 1 and also the Ministry of Health and Childcare National Health Strategy 2021 to 2025. Witnessing such an important groundbreaking ceremony for a polyclinic is an impressive milestone for the community of Sunningdale, most especially for the mothers, their children and the elderly.
The Sunningdale community has welcomed this initiative, citing the significant relief it will bring from having to travel long distances to access healthcare services.
Chipatara chinokosha munharaunda tinenge takubatsirika kunyangwe panouya urwere munharaunda munomanga musina inonzi chiclinic saka nawo pane chipatara padhuze change chibatsira vanhu vanoda kuzvara vanenge vachiita maemergencies vanokwanisa kubatsirwa kozi vanenge vane chipatara padhuze tichibuda mari tichienda kunorapwa kure saka izvinezvi waongoziva kuti muarea saka zvinoti tiri kunzwa kurerukirwa.
The groundbreaking ceremony was held in the presence of several stakeholders, including Harare City Council Mayor Councillor Jacob Mafume.
Now, earlier on, we had a story from the Republican Cup horse racing event where we referred that the Minister of Defense, Comrade Opa Muchinguri Kashiri, was representing Vice President Kembo Mohadi. We apologize for that error. The minister was actually representing Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga, who is on an official assignment in Paris. Now we take a short break. We will be back with more. Do stay with us.
The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe announced a new initiative to ensure sufficient local currency in circulation. Starting June 10, swipe for ZIG Cash at any HomeLink branch using your debit or credit card. Available in your ZIG denominations 1, 2, 5, and 10 ZIG. You can exchange your foreign currency for ZIG Cash at the prevailing interbank exchange rate. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe is ensuring that adequate ZIG Cash is available for all, be it in public transportation, retailers, informal traders, and other key stakeholders. For more information, visit your nearest HomeLink branch. Thank you.
If you're looking for value this winter, head on over to TM Pick n Pay. Our winter warmer winners will have you stocked up for the weekend. TM Pick n Pay. Real value always.
Since the last day of last season, we are ready to do it all again.
Phil Foden is having the season of his life. Brilliant! Just brilliant! That is quite something!
Upgrade to Compact for $29 per month to get all the Premier League football action.
Zimbabwe will proudly host the 44th Ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government on August 17, 2024 in Harare. Preceding this landmark event are crucial meetings of SADC senior officials and the Council of Ministers setting the agenda for the summit. ZBC will cover all the action from these preparatory meetings to the summit itself across its TV, radio, and digital platforms. Advertisers are encouraged to seize seize this significant opportunity to enhance their brand's visibility locally and regionally through tailored advertising packages during the SADC meetings and summit. For more details on advertising opportunities, please contact Mildred on 0712 831 177 or Wilson on 0775 902 040 or email sales@zadbc.co.zw.
Thank you for staying with us. Now in business news, Zimbabwe is experiencing a rapid shift towards a cashless society. Increased adoption of electronic payment systems. The transformation is accelerated by the introduction of the Zimbabwe gold currency and is aligning with government's financial inclusion goals.
The National Financial Inclusion Strategy, launched in 2022, prioritizes financial innovation, capability, and consumer protection. Electronic payment platforms are proving to be key enablers in achieving these objectives. According to ZimSwitch Chief Executive Officer Mr. Zebron Chilakalaka, electronic payment systems are enhancing financial inclusion in Zimbabwe, complemented by the introduction of ZIG.
We have 29 participants on the ZimSwitch platform, the platform having been established by banks only. To date, we have mobile money operators, all of them in the country, on the ZimSwitch platform, and deposit-taking microfinance institutions. Now, the financial inclusion aspect speaks to really is dependent on convenience. So the interoperability between mobile money, banks, deposit-taking microfinance institutions speaks to convenience for the transacting public. And from a financial inclusion drive, the consumer, the end consumer, is actually interested in adopting whichever platform they choose, guaranteed that they will be able to pay anyone in the country.
The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe confirmed a surge in digital transactions.
Having achieved 96% digital transactions against a cash of 4%, we acknowledge the positive impact the payment players have done in achieving this financial inclusion and digital financial services in the country.
The aggregated digital payments transaction values for the 6 months ending 30 June 2024 have been on an upward trajectory on the backdrop of the introduction of the ZIG currency. Digital payments increased by a monthly average of 33%, whilst volumes remained stable with a marginal monthly average increase of 1%. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
On a side note, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of War Veterans and former Chief Director in the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Clive Mpambela, has died. We'll give you details in our other news bulletins. And now to the arts. Simon Mutambi took the crown on the Radio Zimbabwe Top 20 chart show this week.
Mutambi maintained his dominance on the chart after claiming pole position and relegating top contender Killer T Skanandanyura to second place. DT Bayo Mudimba was third with his song Amana Mazua after moving 2 places up the ladder from 5 last week. A collaborative effort uchabayiwa by Chief Wenje and Obed Chari is gaining popularity, claiming 4th position from 11 last week. 2 new songs joined the chart this week. Hakuna Chinoramba by psalmist Lamond Dube on position 19 and Blessing Mareros Wakadzi Nedoro on 20th. Other songs that are proving to be listeners' favorites include Makngwazi's latest offering, Zimwe Hondo, which was 7th from 13 last week, and another banger, Fake Love, which occupied 12th from last week's 20. Patience Nyagato, Service News, Harare.
That's all for now. We take a breather. Do join us when we return.
In today's fast-paced world, paying in ZIG is not just about exchanging physical cash. It's about tapping into the electronic payment space, where convenience meets technology. On Zimbabwe's stable, safe, sound, and efficient national payment system, experience seamless transactions at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Join the future of payments today with ZIG. Secure, reliable, effortless. Pay the smart way. Pay with ZIG.
High-quality alcohol-free red common bricks for sale at affordable prices. Visit Dow Bricks at Chikurubi Prison Farm, Harare. We are also recruiting salespeople.
Now in sport, Arsenal Movers moved a place up the Premier Soccer League log standings after beating fading giants Cape United by 2-1 at Luveve Stadium in Saturday's Lawn PSL Match Day 21 fixture.
The appointment of Pilani Bifingube as Arsenal Movers head coach is proving to be a step in the right direction for the Premier Soccer League debutants who are beginning to find their feet in the current season. Ngube, who replaced Farai early this week, he has brought about a turnaround of fortunes at Arsenal, collecting maximum points in his 2 matches in charge, the latest being against one of the biggest 3 clubs in the country, Cape United. The former Harare City coach, however, had nothing but appreciation for his former boss.
We need to appreciate the men inside the project. Unfortunately, it was something beyond our control. But when a game by game. Now we focus on going to get a mineral. We are done with Capes. What I want to tell the guys, we lost 3-0 in the first half. But 3-0, even if you win 9-0, you get 3 points.
Meanwhile, Cape United coach Lloyd Chitembwe is confident that his technical adjustments will reap fruits in their clash against log leaders FC Platinum in match day 22 next weekend.
At the end of the day, these matches are played to be won, and we have no reason not to go there believing that we can win. Then there's no point of preparing the team, there's no point to participate. We want to be very good competitors. We go there against FC and make sure we're very competitive and give ourselves a very good chance of winning it.
Cape United attacker William Manundo drew first blood in the match with a 31st minute strike to go clear on the top goal scorers charts before Brian Jaravaza leveled meters and eventually Lucky Nyati sealed the maximum points for Arsenal. Match day 21 continues this Sunday as Yada host Bulawayo Chiefs at the Art Stadium. Dynamos welcome Bikita Minerals to Rufaro Stadium. Bottom place to Wange face Simbabora at the Colliery, while Highlanders and Tail One face off at Babafield Stadium. Elsewhere, Greenfuel clash with Chegutu Pirates at the Greenfuel Arena. Second place Ngezi Platinum travel to Sakuva to face Manika Diamonds. Nyamunga host the battle between ZPC Kariba and Chicken Inn, and the action wraps up at Mandava Stadium, where log leaders FC Platinum and Tier Rentals go yard to yard. Reynaud Ngwarati, ZBC News.
To cricket now, where the men's national team, the Chevrons, will be hoping to maintain their rhythm which they exhibited before the rain-forced stumps on Saturday, when they take to the field against Ireland this Sunday on day 4.
Zimbabwe saw off day 3 of action with optimism after the pair of Richard Ngarava and Blessing Muzarabani put on a solid display with the ball during Ireland's second innings. Richard Ngarava grabbed 4 early wickets for the Chevrons before rain forced stumps on day 3 of the one-off test match between Zimbabwe and Ireland at Stormont in Belfast this Saturday. The two seamers were clinical at the close of the day's play with their precise bowling coupled with excellent fielding, leaving Ireland reeling on 33 runs for 5 after 8 overs. Ireland, who had restricted the Chevrons to 197 runs, could not emulate their bowling as they had the rain to thank after a spell that saw their top order collapsing in pursuit of a lowly 157-run target. Ngarava finished the day with figures of 4 wickets for 12 runs in his 4 overs, while Muzarabani had a single scalp for 16 runs. Earlier on, Dion Myers scored a maiden half-century as Zimbabwe battled to only 197 runs in their second innings to take a 157-run lead. Reynold Ngwarati, ZBC News.
The Zimbabwe senior rugby team, the Sables, are set to face Algeria in Rugby Africa Cup final in Uganda this Saturday without 3 key players.
Sables head coach Peter Bernard is unscathed by the absence of going into the Rugby Africa final against Algeria without 3 of his foreign-based stars. The Sables face Algeria this Sunday without Tino Mavesera, Cleopas Kunduana and Ian Pryor, who have returned to their clubs as scheduled. Despite the setback, the Sables are confident of a victory.
We always need a couple of versatile players. And in Zimbabwe we do have that. We have a couple of guys who always can cover a number of spots. So yeah, we're looking at that. I think we've seen the way Musingwini performed at wing. We know that he's a fly-off and a fullback. So he'll probably shift into more of a playmaking role or at the back. And we've got Mafura, who's also very skillful, who can fill in a couple of spots. And then, as I said, we're just looking forward to giving some young guys opportunities to grow. That's a lovely environment to grow. If they come off, we're gonna have taken massive steps into their personal development.
Godfrey Muzanaro is one of the replacements brought into the Sables camp to replenish the squad, and he relishes the opportunity to be a part of this final.
It's been an amazing experience, and what better team to join than a team that just broke the history of 22 years not beating Namibia. So it's been nothing more than a privilege to be here with the boys, and super excited to be here. I know I joined late, but I think the job has been done already by the boys, and hopefully I can add a bit of value to what has already been said by the boys.
After their last training session this Friday, the Sables hosted a skills coaching session with primary school children at the Marere University grounds in Kampala.
To conclude sport, we look at the Olympics, where Zimbabwean rower Stephen Cox kicked off the country's participation at Paris 2024 with a 4th place finish in the men's single sculls heat 5 this Saturday.
Our former Peterhouse boys school student Stephen Cox was the first Zimbabwean in action at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games in the men's single sculls rowing heat number 5. Cox, who finished 15th in the 2024 Rowing World Cup, could not seal an automatic quarterfinal qualification ticket after finishing 4th in his heat. Cox clocked a time of 7 minutes, 11 seconds and 98 milliseconds to finish 4th, 5 seconds shy of quarterfinal qualification time in the men's single sculls heat number 5. With only the top 3 in each of the 6 heats automatically sealing a slot into the quarterfinals, Cox will now shift his attention to participating in the repechage slated for this Sunday. Meanwhile, German Oliver Zeidler finished first in heat number 5 with a time of 6 minutes, 54 seconds and 72 milliseconds. Cox will need to be at his best in the repechage for him to cross to the next stage of the men's single sculls. After Sunday, swimmer Paige van der Westerhuizen will be next in action for Zimbabwe in the women's 100 meters freestyle on the 30th of July, and a day later, Danielson Sopranos will take to the pool on the 31st of July in the men's 200 meters breaststroke heat number 1. Tapiwa Nashema Karau and Makanaka Ichicharamba will take part in the short distance athletics, while Isaac Mpofu and Rutendo Nyawora are expected to keep off Zimbabwe's participation at the Global Games. Reynaud Ngwarati, ZBC News.
Let's get the weather report in focus, courtesy of the Met Services Department.
Good evening, Zimbabwe. It is time for your evening weather report and focus. My name is Benjamin Kwaramba. Well, sunny weather prevails across the country. Cold at first, it was mild to warm by afternoon. To the southern districts, we experienced some briefly partly cloudy periods in the morning. By afternoon, the cloud dissipated. In the satellite images received this afternoon, they show mostly clear skies right across Zimbabwe. Tomorrow, we expect clear skies again to prevail right across the whole country. Very cold at first, becoming mild to warm later. Now, for the temperatures in detail, the capital city, Harare, expect a minimum of 11 and a maximum of 29. Kobulawayo 7 and 31, 6 and 28 is expected at Gweru, 9 and 31 at Mutare, 6 and 31 at Kwekwe, Kadoma, 8 and 32 degrees Celsius. Masvingo, 8 at first, 32 maximum. 8 and 31 is expected at Chinoi, Lupane 4 and 33. Expect some slight ground frost over Lupane. Pindura 10 and 29, Marondera 8 and 28, Gwanda 8 and 34 degrees Celsius. For the holiday resorts, Victoria Falls 10 and 32, Kariba 13 and 32, Great Zimbabwe, the ancient city 8 and 32 degrees Celsius, Nyanga 4 and 24. Expect some slight ground frost over Nyanga area, Matopo 6 and 30, 11 and 28 is expected Ichimani Mani. Day after tomorrow, again, sunny weather should prevail right across the whole country, though to the southern districts, especially Matabele South, Masvingo and southern parts of Manicaland, partly cloudy periods, but by afternoon the clouds should dissipate. Thank you for watching tonight's edition of the Weather Report in Focus. Let's make a date again tomorrow at the same time. Good evening, Zimbabwe.
That's all for tonight. Thank you for having joined us. Good night.
Good night.